This story is titled, My Brother-in-Law Humiliates My Sister by sharing her private photos and cheating on her with my best friend. He doesn't know it was all a trap, but the truth unfolded at a family gathering. This story involves me. I'm 28 years old, my sister Carla, 30, her husband Adam, 32, and my best friend Lisa, 29. Before I begin, I have to explain a little about my situation so you can understand my problem. Carla and Adam have been married for about 6 years. From the outside, they seem like the perfect couple, good jobs, a nice house, and even a dog that they treat as if it were their child. They have always seemed happy, and I have sincerely admired their relationship for years. As for Lisa and me, we've been best friends since high school. She's practically a second sister to me. She's close to my parents, has spent countless family holidays with us, and we invite her to almost every family event. It all started to fall apart during one of these family gatherings. A few weeks ago, my parents organized one of their classic barbecues. My family loves to organize these gatherings, especially in the summer. My parents have an incredible patio with a pool, so naturally, everyone loves to come. With the heat that can hit this part of the country at this time of year, it's difficult to find someone who says no. It's not the kind of event where there's only family. Friends and neighbors usually stop by, so it's always a big deal. Of course, I took Lisa. She's always welcome and fits in perfectly with everyone. The day started out like any other. We were all hanging out, grilling food, swimming, and having fun. Lisa eventually decided to put on her bathing suit to join everyone in the pool. I didn't notice anything strange at the time. Later that day, Lisa pulled me aside. She told me that as she walked past Adam, he leaned over to her and made a comment low enough that no one else could hear. He said something like, "That swimsuit really shows off your figure. You look amazing." Lisa looked visibly uncomfortable telling me this. She said she didn't know if she was exaggerating, but it felt weird, especially since Adam had always been just nice in the past. At first, I thought, okay, maybe it was just a silly comment and he didn't mean any harm. But something didn't add up, especially since Lisa doesn't usually get weird about things like that. I decided to keep it to myself for a while, but I knew that eventually I would have to talk to Carla about it. A few days later, Lisa and I went out for a drink with Carla. It was just the three of us on a girls' night out to de-stress, especially me because of some things that happen at work, but that's not related. At one point, Lisa casually mentioned what Adam had told her at the barbecue. Carla immediately froze. Her face turned pale, and she was quiet for a moment. When we asked her what was wrong, she hesitated before finally admitting that she had felt Adam's behavior had changed recently. She couldn't put her finger on it exactly, but little things were out of place. He was spending more time on the phone, coming home late from work, and was less present in general. Her instinct told her that something was not right. Even so, Carla did not want to confront him. She was afraid that if he was not cheating, she would seem crazy, and if he was, he would probably just lie and manipulate her. Honestly, we all agreed that confronting him out of the blue would probably go wrong. So, after a lot of back and forth, we decided to test his loyalty. If he was faithful, great. We would all breathe easier. We wanted indisputable proof. The plan was to set up a little loyalty test at the next family event. A couple of weeks later, my parents organized another gathering, this time more casual, like a picnic. My parents live for that kind of stuff. To make it fun, everyone split into teams for outdoor games, each team with specific colors. Carla ended up on the yellow team, Adam and Lisa were placed together on the blue team, and I was on the green team. We deliberately arranged it like that to create an opportunity for Lisa and Adam to be alone. The plan was simple. At some point during the event, Lisa and Adam would be sent to get something from one of the cars. Lisa would flirt with him and see how he reacted. If he passed the test, we would drop everything. But if not, well, at least we would have our answer. On the day of the picnic, everything seemed normal. Lisa and Adam were on the same team, so naturally they spent some time together during the games. When the time came, Carla and I casually suggested that Lisa and Adam go get a bag of potatoes that was left in the car. We had put a camera in the car to have a better view and gather evidence. We were not going to wait for Adam to claim that Lisa was lying. They were gone for about 10 minutes. When they came back, Adam acted completely normal, laughing, talking to people, and behaving as if nothing had happened. We were watching from a good distance, but we asked Lisa for more details. She told us that Adam gave in almost immediately. He started off with some light flirting, complimenting her shirt, touching her arm, and eventually caressing her breast. From what she told us, he didn't hesitate one bit. Within minutes, he leaned in, made some questionable comments, and even tried to kiss her. She didn't stop him, and they ended up kissing passionately. Lisa played along to see how far he would go. According to her, Adam whispered to her that they should find a private place and even suggested sneaking out of the picnic. He took her hand and guided her toward a secluded area. At that point, Lisa knew it was enough. She walked away, made up an excuse, and brought him back to the group as if nothing had happened. But one of the creepiest parts, and something we didn't get to see directly, was that he wouldn't let her go when she tried to walk away. He kept trying to convince her to stay while caressing her. It was disgusting. The recording also told the same story, but it was even worse for Carla. Seeing it made it feel more real than just hearing about it. It wasn't only the fact that my brother-in-law had been unfaithful to my sister. It also shattered the idea I had of them as a couple to emulate. But although it has broken my illusions, the most important thing is that it has broken my sister's heart. Update 1. Well, you made my last post explode, and I wanted to share more, so here it is. What happened after the picnic? Carla was absolutely devastated to see the man she had spent years with betray her so easily. It was more than heartbreaking. He didn't even resist. It was as if he had been thinking about being with Lisa for a long time. Carla couldn't even cry after what happened. She is still very affected, as if in shock. The same night of the picnic, after writing my post, Carla came over and we spent hours talking. Carla went through all the emotions: anger, sadness, disbelief, and then started all over again. She admitted that she had been doubting herself for months, feeling like she was imagining things or being paranoid. Now that she had irrefutable proof, she wanted to handle this carefully. Everyone has an image of Adam as a good husband, and she didn't want him to use it against her, making it seem like she was the one at fault. This is where Lisa comes back into it all. Lisa is a good friend and offered to continue helping. She offered to keep in touch with Adam and play along so we could gather more evidence. At first, Carla wasn't sure if she wanted Lisa to do it. She didn't want her to get into more trouble, but Lisa insisted. She told Carla, "If he's done this to me, we need to know how many more women he's tried it with. We need to expose him for what he really is." In the following days, Lisa kept in touch with Adam, and he wasted no time starting with flirtatious messages. He made comments about how fun the picnic was, how he wished he could talk to her more, and how he wished she would have stayed with him. Lisa kept the conversations going, but not too enthusiastically, just enough to keep his interest. It wasn't long before Adam started to escalate things. He would send random messages late at night, often after drinking, with comments like, "I wish you were here," or "the things I would do to you." He got a little graphic with the latter type of message. Then came the, let's say, private photos. At first, Lisa felt disgusted, but decided to continue for Carla's sake. One night, Adam finally crossed the line completely. He sent a message to Lisa saying, "I need something to keep me company tonight. Do you have any pictures for me?" That was it. Lisa knew we had him. She kept calm and replied, asking, "What kind of pictures?" to keep him talking, but she never sent anything. He was absolutely delighted, completely oblivious to the plan. Meanwhile, Carla was playing her own role. One night, after Adam fell asleep drunk, she decided to check his phone. She felt guilty for doing so, but at this point, she needed to know how deep this betrayal went. What she found was worse than any of us expected. Adam was not only texting Lisa, he had a whole list of women he had been talking to. Then came the real blow. Adam had been sharing intimate photos of Carla without her consent. He had even sent some of these photos to other women, accompanied by degrading comments. Carla's face turned red, and she broke down when she told me this. That was the moment Carla decided that she wasn't just going to expose Adam, she was going to completely destroy his life. We spent the next week thinking about how to handle the situation. We initially thought about confronting Adam privately, but Carla dismissed that idea. She quickly said, "No, he has humiliated me behind my back for months. I want everyone to know the truth." That's when the idea of the big reveal was born. Carla decided to organize another family gathering, a casual movie night in the backyard. The idea was that everyone would see the evidence at the same time and that there would be no way for Adam to control the narrative of the story. We set up an announcement that we were going to watch a movie, but instead, it would turn into a slideshow. We would show a compilation of all the evidence we had gathered, texts, screenshots, videos, and, of course, the footage of Adam kissing Lisa at the picnic. Carla also started working with a lawyer to prepare the divorce papers. She wanted everything ready to hand to him immediately after the revelation. She wanted to humiliate him just as he had humiliated her. Carla's anger was like a fire that couldn't be put out. She has always been strong-willed and decisive, but this was a new level of resolve. My biggest fear is what my father might do when everything is revealed. I've told Carla about my concerns, but she just said, "Whatever has to happen will happen. Adam has earned it. Just in case, I'm going to stay close to my father to keep him calm. I don't want everything to get out of control." Update 2. Adam's infidelity has not yet been revealed, but I can tell you what we've been doing so far. Carla and I have spent hours editing everything into one video. It is edited to tell the whole story, at least to the best of our editing skills. It starts with the messages Adam sent to Lisa, continues with the video of the picnic, and ends with screenshots of his interactions with other women. Every detail is documented, including dates and context. Meanwhile, Carla has also been working on getting the divorce papers ready with her lawyer. Her lawyer advised her to include some of the evidence as part of the process, making sure the case is solid. The divorce papers aren't just to end the marriage, but also to help Carla regain control. She wants to ensure that Adam doesn't have the opportunity to attack her financially or emotionally. The lawyer is helping her secure everything that is owed to her, from the house to a share of the savings. The papers are almost ready, which gives Carla a clear advantage. She also took care of sending out all the invitations for the reveal party, as we've started calling it. The guest list is extensive. Carla invited immediate family, extended family, and even some of Adam's closest friends. She has also invited a few of his work colleagues because she wants the news to spread as quickly as possible once the reveal happens. Carla has also been busy preparing the patio. We borrowed a high-quality projector from a family friend and set it up in front of a large blank wall. We even have a portable screen as a backup just in case. The chairs and blankets have been arranged in rows, similar to a movie theater setup in the park. To create an authentic event feel, we hung lights all over the patio, similar to the family gatherings my parents often organize. My parents also helped with the setup, although they don't know anything about the surprise. Carla even set up a table that will be used for snacks like popcorn and drinks, completing the movie night theme. Everything about the setup screams normal family gathering. We tested the projector several times to ensure there were no glitches. The video file is loaded onto a laptop connected to the projector, and everything has been double-checked and is ready to go. On another front, Lisa continues to interact with Adam, keeping him distracted so he doesn't notice anything unusual. He keeps texting her constantly with inappropriate messages and trying to set up meetups. Lisa plays along just enough to keep him hooked, saving each interaction as more evidence. The party is tomorrow. Once it's over, I'll be back to tell you how it went. Update 3. I feel like the villain in a movie, but really, Adam had no idea what was about to happen. Lisa and I could barely contain our nerves. Carla, on the other hand, was incredibly calm. She literally said, word for word, "He's been doing all of this without any fear or worry. Tonight, I'm going to make him feel the fear of God." A little too biblical for my taste, but she had a point. We checked everything 2 and 3 times. The borrowed projector worked perfectly, and the video file that Carla and Lisa had created was ready on the laptop. Guests began arriving at dusk, filling the patio. After it was busy and the energy in the backyard was exactly what Carla wanted, casual, lively, and completely relaxed, Lisa and I stayed in the background, discreetly monitoring the technical setup and avoiding Adam completely. He did try to talk to Lisa at one point during the night, but she simply told him that she was busy with the organization. When it was completely dark, Carla announced that it was time for the main event. She invited everyone to take a seat and gave a brief introduction, thanking everyone for coming. She wasn't nervous at all. In fact, she made it sound so innocent that even Adam seemed genuinely excited as he settled into his seat near the front. Yeah, I had to look at him. I wanted to see how his smug face would transform. The lights dimmed, and the video started. The first few minutes of the video were of a movie that Carla had downloaded, so everyone was focused on watching it. But then, the tone shifted. The screen changed from the movie to a screenshot of a text conversation. At first, everyone present didn't quite understand what they were seeing. The texts were between Adam and Lisa, with Adam's name, his profile picture, and the timestamps clearly visible. The messages started out seemingly innocent but quickly became more bizarre and then downright desperate, as Adam tried to get something out of Lisa. Adam grew visibly nervous but didn't say anything. I guess he didn't want to incriminate himself further. He got up and walked to another part of the yard, trying to stay out of sight. Some people, especially the older ones, were leaning forward in their seats, trying to read the messages more clearly. When they finally began to realize what was happening, murmurs filled the crowd. Before anyone could fully process the messages, the video moved on to the next part, the family picnic footage. The screen showed Adam and Lisa next to the car, leaning towards each other. Then, it showed the moment that left no room for doubt, Adam moving in even closer without any resistance from Lisa. He touched her inappropriately and whispered something in her ear. Then came the passionate kiss. But the video wasn't over yet. Another transition played, this time showing a series of screenshots of Adam's conversations with other women. These were not just harmless messages. They were explicit and graphic exchanges. The timestamps showed that many of these conversations had occurred while Adam was supposedly working or spending time with Carla. The most disturbing part came towards the end of the video, private photos of Carla. The images were blurred for privacy, but the context was clear. Adam had shared them with other women. The subtitles of the degrading comments that Adam had written were visible on the screen. Everyone could see the way he spoke about Carla behind her back. When the video ended, the entire patio was silent. Adam was standing in the corner of the yard, frozen with a pale face. He remained motionless, like his soul had left his body 15 minutes ago, when the video started. He was no longer as confident as before. My father, on the other hand, was actively processing everything. Unfortunately, I failed to keep an eye on him. The next thing I knew, he was running straight toward Adam. He took him by surprise, and they both fell on top of my mother's rose bushes. My mother screamed, "My roses! You're crushing my roses!" But my father didn't care. He was already hitting Adam, and it didn't look like he was going to stop. Luckily, a couple of relatives managed to separate them, but I can't say that the roses survived. Carla didn't waste any time. When Adam was shaking the dirt off his pants, she got up and walked straight toward him with the divorce papers in her hand. Adam stammered, trying to find words to explain or justify what everyone had just seen, but he wasn't as eloquent as he had been when he was flirting. His first response was to deny everything. He claimed that the messages had been taken out of context, that the pictures from the picnic were not what they seemed, and that people were not seeing the full story. He pointed the finger at Lisa, suggesting that she had been the one chasing him, attempting to shift the blame onto her. But the evidence told a completely different story. Even Adam's co-workers, who initially didn't know what to think, began nodding in acceptance of what was now undeniable. Some guests, mostly older relatives, quietly left the backyard. Others were visibly angry and horrified by everything they had witnessed. Relatives who had always supported Carla openly expressed their disgust toward Adam. One aunt called him a pig. Adam's co-workers, who knew a very different version of him at work, looked at him with contempt. Some whispered among themselves, probably discussing how this would affect his reputation at the office. Inviting them had been Carla's idea, and it was clearly paying off. Adam made one last desperate attempt to play the victim. He claimed that the exposure was unnecessary and cruel, accusing Carla of trying to destroy his life. However, this backfired spectacularly. Some people began to say that, as an unfaithful man, he had no right to blame the victim. If Carla did what she did, it was because he was a disgusting person and deserved everything that was happening. Even one of the kids at the party threw popcorn at him. His mother told him to stop and not do that, but honestly, I think he deserved that and maybe a little more, like a cup of hot chocolate poured on his head. Unfortunately, there was no hot chocolate. Eventually, Adam left quietly. After he was gone, people approached Carla and comforted her for everything she had been through. Even Adam's co-workers supported Carla. One of them asked her if she could make a copy of the video, and she told him there was no problem. She let him use the computer to do so. That was last night. We stayed up late cleaning and putting everything back in order. My father eventually calmed down but still received a scolding from my mother about the roses. However, he promised to buy her new ones so she could replant them. But he didn't regret throwing Adam into them. In fact, he said he hoped Adam got some thorns stuck in his butt when he fell. My mother laughed and said, "It was worth it, wasn't it?" This wasn't the typical gathering my parents organized, but at least it was something new. Update 4. It's time to talk about the consequences of what friends and family have called In the Name of the Rose. I haven't seen it, but it's a movie, and it has a rose in the name, so I guess it's accurate. I don't know if the plot has anything to do with Adam and Carla, but that title has already been adopted. First of all, I'm going to talk about my sister's divorce from Adam. Many people complained because my sister demanded the house, so I want to clarify that the house is practically hers, or rather, my father's. It was kind of a wedding gift because he made the down payment, and it was a pretty generous one at that. Afterward, both Adam and Carla were paying part of the mortgage. Carla offered to buy out the part of the mortgage that Adam had paid, which I think was very generous of her after everything that happened. At least Adam did something sensible in all this and agreed to the deal. The savings were also divided in half since they had both contributed practically the same. So, the divorce could not have been simpler. Surprisingly, it has been the least contentious part of the entire ordeal. I know many divorces that have gone much worse for both parties. It's a shame that Adam didn't decide to do all of this before, that is, get a divorce and then pursue the women he wanted. It would have been far more noble than cheating on my sister. Now, he is free to be with any woman he wants, although he might have to choose them more carefully if he doesn't want any more problems than he already has. For example, he tried his luck with Lisa. He sent her a message telling her that he was now completely free and that they could finally meet up and do all the things they had been talking about. But she replied that she had only been talking to him to help her friend and that she would never go out with an inglorious, unfaithful bastard like him. The references to movies continue. If you remember, one of Adam's co-workers took a copy of the video we edited. Well, this co-worker had doubts about whether one of the girls Adam had been texting was the girlfriend of another co-worker who wasn't at the party. And yes, she was. Now, I wonder if that revelation played a role in Adam accepting the house deal so easily. Maybe he needed the money after being fired. Because, as it turns out, the co-worker wasn't just another colleague. He was one of Adam's superiors at the company. I would say that falling on some roses is far more pleasant than finding yourself in a bar with your former boss and his friends. From what I've been told, that encounter did not end well for Adam. Apparently, he provoked his ex-boss by talking about his ex-girlfriend and even tried to attack him when the boss didn't take the bait. Fortunately, the boss kept his cool because if they had hit Adam without him causing harm, they might have gotten into legal trouble. At least my father was lucky that Adam decided not to sue him for being thrown into the roses. That would have been a very thorny trial. Sorry, I had to make that joke. That's everything that's been going on these past few months. Lisa and I are still great friends. Carla is recovering from her failed marriage and has started going on girls' outings with us. They're nothing special, just casual hangouts. My dad still hosts barbecues and parties in his backyard. The only real change is that my father has had to spend a lot of money to replace all the roses that were destroyed. But honestly, I don't think anyone would say it wasn't worth it. What do you think about this story? Have you ever experienced something similar, or do you know someone who has? Share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to hit the notification bell and subscribe to the channel for more amazing stories.